So if you're the type to use your phone for a lot of video and video production and you want to have the most stable type of footage, you might want to look into something like this, which is a mobile phone gimbal. And for the most part, most new phones have really good EIS or electronic image stabilization built into the camera. However, if you do want the most stable footage, you're going to want to look at a mechanical gimbal just like this. Now, phone gimbals in general have been around for a little while now, but Hohem, whenever they launch a phone gimbal, they seem to be just a little bit ahead of some of the competition. And in this video, we are going to be comparing the all new, this is the Hohem iSteady V3 Ultra. There was a V3 that came out last year. This is the Ultra version. We'll talk about that. And this one right here, which is DJI's most recent one. This is the OM or Osmo Mobile 7P. And I've been using the OM 7P for a little while now. So when Hohem wanted to send me this to check out, I was like, what are the main differences between the gimbals? And when they told me some of the few differences between the two, I definitely wanted to check out the all new V3 Ultra. And huge thanks to Hohem. They actually sent me two. They sent me a black one here, which is in the box, and a white one, but I don't need two phone gimbals, so I will be giving away to one of you guys. Next, let's get into those main differences on these gimbals. And I wanted to wait to turn the gimbal around because you can see one of the main differences here. We have a detachable screen, which you're able to preview your camera here through that AI tracker, where here on the OM7, we do not have a preview screen or a screen in general. And what's good about both of these tracking modules is that you don't have to have the mobile phone app on these in order for you to use tracking. Yes, if you do have the app open, you can use it, but that's what allows you to use now tracking on all the other apps, whether you're using the built-in phone or video app on your actual phone, whether it's an iOS or an Android phone. You can use tracking now on all of your social media. So if you want to use Snapchat, Instagram Reels, YouTube Stories, you can use tracking now and you don't necessarily have to be dependent on the app. You can use it because you have these modules here at the bottom. Now, the one thing that's really cool about the V3 Ultra, and I saw this on Hohem's other gimbal, the larger one, the M7, is that they're able to take that technology from the larger gimbals and now move it over here into these smaller gimbals, and we now have it on the V3 Ultra. That was something that we did not have on the V3. This is the V3, and we have a remote, and you're able to move the gimbal around, but we had no preview screen, and we have that preview screen now here on the Ultra. Now, what are you able to do with the screen? Well, first and foremost, you can actually preview what this AI tracker sees here. So I have a preview right now on my screen of what this camera on the very front is seeing. What's really nice is that I can be away from the gimbal, and if I need to make adjustments, for instance, my positioning is a little bit off, I want to be able to adjust the gimbal. I can do that now with my remote. That's right here at the very bottom, but I can see what the camera sees, so I can make sure that I'm properly in frame. So if I need to make any adjustments, I can do that. This comes in extremely handy, especially if you are a solo content creator. Maybe you have your gimbal on a monopod or a tripod and you need to be away from it. You can now monitor what the gimbal sees through this remote control and make those adjustments. That alone was one of the biggest benefits that I found when using this gimbal, because when you are set up in a gimbal here on the OM7P, yes, it can track you, it'll frame you. However, you don't have any manual control over it and you can't preview what the actual AI tracker sees. Now, while I really like this remote control, the one thing I did recommend to Hohem, and I told them this on the M7 and also on the V3, is that the remote control sits in there with a magnet, but it is super light. Like, it is too light. And before on my V3 remote control, if I had this in my bag and something were to tap it and move it, it pops out pretty easy. So I really wish they made some adjustments on here to have some sort of click or locking system to hold that remote control in here a lot better, or just bump up the magnet. Right now the magnet is pretty weak, so you kind of see it just kind of sits in there, but if it were to slip out, it comes out pretty easily. And that can be a major problem, because if you lose this remote control, which could drop into your bag, or it might just slip out, or you might be using it, the gimbal might fall and it might pop out. If you lose this remote control, this is also your joystick, which means you can't move, or you can't really use the gimbal without this. Next thing I really like about this remote control, and because of the fact that we have that preview here, that preview screen here, I'm able to see myself, or I'm able to see the subject. I can actually activate tracking by selecting on that subject on the screen. Right now, the AI tracker is currently off. Now, what's nice is that because I can position it here, I can see what the camera sees, and right now the tracker is pointed right at me. If I wanted to start tracking, I can just click on my face, I can see that it is going to turn on or turn green, just like that. So now it's green, AI tracking is on. So if I move left to right, just like this, it is now tracking me. Now to stop tracking, just double tap on the screen and there you go. Tracking has now stopped. Now when it comes down to gesture control, they both actually have gesture control. Again, I'm not using the Hohem app. I'm not using the DJI Mimo app. This is strictly off of their multimodal module here. And this is the multifunctional module here on the OM7. And right now they are not tracking me. They have similar gestures. Now with the OM7, you just have to put your hand up just like that. Now it'll start tracking. And with the Hohem, you just give a little okay sign, just like that. Now they are both tracking me now from the AI modules at the very bottom. And then the one thing I can do if I want to stop, just put my hand up on both. Now they both stop. Now the one thing that is unique about this one right here is that if you were to go, if I want to switch it from horizontal to vertical or from vertical to horizontal, I can just give the thumbs up. Now it switches over into portrait mode. Now if I want to go back to landscape, press it over to the side, I'm able to do that. And both cameras are able to reposition it. So if I don't want to be right dead center in the frame, I can actually just go up on both of these and move over. Now, the one thing I did notice is that when I'm using the app, if I launch the Mimo app as well as the Hohem Joy app, I am able to track multiple subjects. So if I want to track a car or people, you are able to do that on both gimbals. However, if you're just using the AI tracking module, you're limited to just people here on the OM7, where here on the Hohem, you're able to track pets, you're able to track people, you're able to track cars. And the last difference that we have here is the 360 infinite tracking. All right, just to show you another example of that 360 infinite 360. For instance, here I'm just at the pier in Scripps, La Jolla. And for instance, if I wanted just to be able to walk around this area freely and know that there's no limitations on the infinite tracking. So right now the tracking is off. I am using the tracker and not the app. So all I need to do to engage the tracking is just to give a little peace sign. And there you go, tracking is now on, as you can see here on the camera. Now, the one thing with the infinite tracker, like I said, is that you can go all the way around in 360. So if I wanted to come all the way down here, show you guys a nice overcast morning here in La Jolla. This is probably one of my favorite spots to not only just hang out, but to shoot a lot of my gear. I just have a beautiful backdrop here, and it is a nice kind of overcast morning. It's getting hot, got hotter and hotter every day now, or this summer's been super hot, and now it is cooling off, so it does feel really good. But this is what it looks like all the way around as the camera's going all the way around. All right, so now I have the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P on the stand, and let's engage tracking here. Just put my hand up, turns green, and I am now being tracked by the gimbal. So let's take this around. I'm gonna take it to this side. Looks like we're good to go there. If I were to go all the way down here like I did with the other gimbal, see how well this is tracking, and it looks like it's tracking just fine. Coming all the way over on this side, looks okay. And we're gonna go all the way over here, coming back around, and right here is where it stops. Again, still goes around in almost 360. It just doesn't continuously rotate. So as you can see here, it does stop at that point. Of course, if I go all the way around this way, coming back around to the other side of the gimbal, it will still track me. Let's see how far, and it stops right about there. As you can see here, as far as height goes, the iSteady V3 comes in a little bit shorter in height compared to the Osmo Mobile 7P. When they're folded down, they are also very similar in size. One thing you will notice here is that the phone bracket or the phone holder is actually integrated into the arm of the gimbal on the Hohem, and here on DJI, it is a detachable magnetic one. So when you are taking this off, then we are about the same size, very similar size as far as the width goes on these gimbals. Now, when it comes down to weight, the Hohem comes out to 432 grams, while the DJI OM7 comes out to 370 grams. The one thing I do like on both of the gimbals is that they do have a built-in tripod right there at the very bottom of the handle. And I'm glad that DJI finally came around to adding it on the OM7 gimbals. Prior to this one, they did not have a built-in one. You had to screw it in. When it comes down to different modes, they both have very similar ones. Right now, we are in the PTF, or pan, tilt, follow mode, which means the phone will balance out on the horizon, but it will tilt forward and back. As you can see here, actually, if you see it like this, you can see the phone slowly tilt. Next, we have the pan follow, which means if I go side to side, it'll maintain its horizon. If I go front to back. And we also have that FPV or POV style shots on both these where you can actually keep it nice and fluid, so they will follow your movements, follow your hand position, just like this. If you want to go from horizontal to vertical, all you have to do is double tap here on the Osmo. It'll switch here, and then on the Hohem, you just have to click on orientation. It'll switch it from horizontal to vertical mode. When it comes down to runtime, we have a 10-hour rated here on the OM7 and a 9-hour runtime here on the V3 Ultra. And when it comes down to phone compatibility, I know a lot of people always ask that. This can handle up to 400 grams and up to 98 millimeter width as far as the phone bracket goes. And as far as payload for the OM7P, you could have a 300 gram phone or up to a 300 gram phone, as well as an 87 millimeter width on this phone clamp. Both gimbals have extension rods in the middle. You can see here, all you do is lift it up. Lift up this one, this is the OM7. And as you can see here, I think the OM7 comes out just a little bit taller than the Hohem V3 Ultra. And what's nice is that both gimbals have the ability to tilt forward and back just like this. So if you were to use this for vlogging, you can actually push that camera out nice and far here on the Hohem. As far as controls go, we have triggers on both. I use a trigger all the time because what the trigger does is that when you hold this thing down, it actually locks that orientation as well as that direction of your gimbal. So once I normally frame up my shot, I'll put my phone at a specific angle, hold down that trigger, and then once I move forward, the phone will stay nice and straight. On the side, we have scroll wheels, which can be used for anything from focus to zooming in, and also if you press them in on both, you can actually trigger the light that is built in. Let me see, the Osmo Mobile has that light. They both have multifunctional modules on this one. This is called the multimodal module on the Hohem V3, but they can trigger the light. And what's nice is about both of them have AI tracking on both of these, as well as both lights on these gimbals can be adjusted as far as color temperature and also strength. And there it is, guys. The new gimbal from Hohem is the V3 Ultra, as well as the OM7P. Definitely really good stabilizers for your mobile phone. And once again, huge thanks to Hohem for sponsoring this video and sending me an extra one to give out to one of you guys. And to win this, pretty simple. Just leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys plan on using. If you guys win this gimbal, what do you guys plan on using it for? Are you using it for vlogging? You want to use it at home as a webcam and you want it to track you? Do you have a family? You want it to be able to track your kids or your pets or your vehicle? Let me know what you guys plan on using something like this for. Make sure you guys leave those down below in the comment section, and within the first couple of days of this video going live, I will be picking a random winner from those comments. And when it comes down to pricing has fluctuated a little bit recently, so I'll make sure I leave the links down below to both of these so it's always updated. That way you get the most recent price list. As always, if you guys got some value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. This is Anastasia with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.